All right, everyone. Welcome to our next episode of the Detroit Hustle podcast with your host, me, Melinda B. Powers. We're in season 2, as you know, and today we have a very special guest, someone that I actually grew up with and who is like a media firestorm in Detroit, otherwise known as Kamal Smith. How are you, Kamal?
I'm good, Melinda. I don't know about who that introduction was not for me, but thank you.
Yes, it was. You have done a little bit of everything, and I'm sure it's even some stuff I learned during this conversation we're about to have. But like, just give us a little introduction for those in the audience who don't know who you are. Just give us a little something. Tell us where you're from in the D, and give us a little background on you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Kamal Smith. She said, raised east side of Detroit, right off of East Warren and Bedford. Blocks away. Yeah. Blocks away from what was Finney High School, but some magical walks on that way. But we're gonna keep that right there. Went to Bates Academy. Went to Cass Tech. Yep. And then journeyed on to out of state to Wilberforce University, HBCU. And found myself back here in Detroit because this is a city that I can't escape, man. It's something magical about the city that I've always felt from years ago, not just how it's kind of like now, it's kind of like the change in the garden. You can feel the energy, really revving up. But even back then, when I first started acting, which we'll get into later, it was something about believing that instead of going to Hollywood, I'm going to bring Hollywood to Detroit. So that was always kind of like my mission statement to myself in a sense. And yeah, man, so here I be.
Now that's interesting. I did not know you went to Wilberforce. I went to FAMU, so got a little HBCU love online.
Okay,
that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Rattler. So, okay, so you gave us your intro. And so, of course, I know you from Bates and Cass, and people who have listened to previous episodes already know my story and how much I love those schools. And then just a shout out to Mr. Holstein, who's celebrating his 50th year
50
teaching this year.
Isn't that crazy?
I know, it's insane, but it kind of isn't, because that's Mr. Holstein. So
that is Mr. Holstein. Yeah.
Every chance I get this season, I'm gonna shout him out.
Yeah, no, you should. I was actually so disappointed I couldn't make the celebration, but I really did plan to go. But Mr. Holstein, that's my guy. Just always just a good dude. He was a jerk back in the day, but he was a jerk in the best way. He knew how to get to us. You know what I mean? Like, it's a real quick story about the whole time. I'm gonna leave the whole time alone.
Okay.
But I remember, I used to play academic games, and so they was my academic game coach. And if you played academic games, your practice was during lunchtime, and that's everybody's out in the playground and playing and all that stuff. And I remember one time. Just staring out the window like like I was on punishment or something at home when I couldn't come out and play. And Mr. Holstein said, Kamal, do you want to go outside? I said, yeah. He said, oh, well, you can't. So sit down, get your butt down, and start. I was so mad at him. I mean, I was like really excited. Like, yeah, I want to go. Yeah, well, you can't. Well, sit down and start practicing. And then that's Mr. Holstein in a nutshell. Great guy.
That discipline, yeah.
It was.
Instilling that in you.
Yeah. And it turned out to work well for me.
Well, if you're on the Facebook group for alumni, they did live stream most of it, so you could catch that.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah. I made sure I put that out there because I'm like, some of us don't live in Michigan. Can somebody live something? So
that was smart. Great idea. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to you and your journey. So Wilberforce, what did you major in there?
I actually majored in music theory.
See, we got a lot of musicians. I was a band head, so this is not a surprise, but I did not know that about you.
Yeah, so interesting story, right?
Okay.
Taking it back to why I even did that. One thing I was not good at, I was always a smart kid, but I used to hate standardized testing, right? Like that was not my thing. SATs, ACTs, meets, I would clam up. My palms would get sweaty. Like I literally still remember doing that. And what a lot of people don't know is I didn't actually get accepted to cast. I failed the test, but um, I auditioned my way in it, right?
Oh, okay.
So shout out to my mama who said, "Well, you're not going to the neighborhood high school. We're gonna find a way." Stop your crying, and then I was all snobby. It was for real. I remember being in my room, because back then it was like that was it, right? Like all your friends at that time, for the most part, when you coming from Bates, you either going to King, Renaissance, or Cass. That was like
Right.
the main three schools that you were going to.
Wait a minute, you said those in the
like
wrong order. You got to put the best first.
Excuse me, Cass.
Right.
Renaissance and King. Right. You can choose how you want to flip 2 and 3, whatever you want to do.
Right.
But yeah, so she made a way. And a lot of I guess the story I'm going to tell it comes from that woman, right? And then her just never taking no for an answer. And so somehow, some way, she conjured up a way for me to audition on my saxophone, and with Miss Allen, and that's how I actually got in the cast, right?
Wow.
And then silly me, once I got there and it was time to accept it, and it was time to choose a curriculum, I chose business administration, which I had no interest in. Like, I don't even know why I was thinking that. The only reason I did it is because I just remember that's what my brother had when he went to cast. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll just put this. So that being said, getting back to the whole the music career. So, I mean, that was my dream, was to be a singer.
Right. You did sing in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
And then isn't your media company named after your mom?
It is. Liz Boys Media. And so I just knew I was not going to make that mistake again. And so when I went to Wilberforce, the big draw for me was the University Concert Choir. My brother also went to Wilberforce, so I had kind of ties there. I would go there. My mom would actually send me there during our winter breaks. So I would go up there. Wow. They would smuggle me into the dorm illegally, and I would get my college experience on. But I was just so fascinated with two organizations there: the University Concert Choir, and then of course Kappa Alpha Psi. So both of them I ended up joining when I got to Wilberforce, and musically, I thought I would never look back, but that's not what God had intended for me in the way which I thought. And so coming out of college, the normal routine when you're trying to be the next big R&B sensation, you demo tapes, auditions, audition tapes, demos, shows all across, state to state, whatever you can do. And then American Idol came 2004. That was it for me. I was done. I was so deflated. Like, literally, I was it. Like, I thought it was going to be it in the good way. Like, this is it. They made this show for me. This is what's going to send me, to the big mansions up there in Hollywood. That's what I really thought. But I got there and I got a quick reality check. I went there by myself down in Cleveland, auditioning with 15,000 other singers. I made it through the first round. I just, how you just like, this is it. This is about to happen. And then, no, it did not. Absolutely not. It got shut down real quick.
Those experiences are crazy. Actually, funny enough, I tried out for The Voice, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago in New Orleans. That experience was just strange. Yeah. But you have to also remember it's television. So it's not just about the talent. It's about
and that
what they're looking for.
What I love. Yeah, that is what I loved about, if I took anything back and that I would use to this day, I understood the R word, which is what they use, which was ratings, right? So they literally told, remember everybody that made it to the second round, they said, look to your left and say, look to your right. And they said, because chances are these people won't be making it with you to the next round.
Right.
And they said that I want everybody to keep in mind, this is not a talent show. This is a television show, and in television, it's all about ratings. It's like, so I guess it was kind of like before the chopping block is about to begin. I guess it was kind of like their last way of saying, no matter what happens, don't let anybody to deflate your dreams, right? Because
right.
even though you don't make it here, you know, you can still make it. But this is not about who's the best singer. It's about
No, it's
who
not.
can provide like release and the looks and this, that, and the other. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But so when I did that, I was deflated, and I was, you know, after pursuing music for I was like, I think 25 then, and I've been singing since 11, 12 years old, like seriously, and really trying to be somebody, you know, boy groups and everything. It was just like, all right, I'm done, man. You know, drives to New York, you know, with my best friend, trying to meet Puff Daddy. There's all types of different,
the hungry
different,
stuff.
yeah, it was just like, I'm done. And so thus entered into acting, and somehow radio got thrown. And the only word I can give you is God, because I did not see this, you know, a line for me to be in my stars. But in 2005, I auditioned for All of Us. Wasn't that the name of the show? Yeah, All of Us, the sitcom with Dwayne Martin and all of that.
Right.
The true story. This is a cool story. True story, and it's cool. My very first read or audition, I should say, was with no other than Gina. Well, Tisha Cameron.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, so here's the funny part. When she turned around, because they were like, well, who's gonna read with them? I'm in this room with all these producers, and she's like, well, I'll read with them. And I turned around, and it was her, and I was like, Gina? She was like, Tisha. I said, oh,
right.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, but I was like, well, freaking auditioning with Jen. This is crazy. Down at the Fox Theater, her and her husband at the time, they were doing something. They were promoting a movie that they were producing, and at the same time holding auditions for a role on that show. And if I'm not mistaken, the name of that movie was The Seat Filler or something like that. It was just a real cool experience, man. Blair Underwood was there. It was just, you know, cool. Obviously, I didn't get the role, but what I did get was the courage to say to myself, hey, I might have something with this acting. So it was kind of like the same situation, because I didn't get I got past the first round. By the time I got to the Fox Theater door, like leaving out, I got the phone call like, hey, we want to do a call back. It was like, you know, in a couple of hours, come back in 2 hours or something like that. I thought I stayed downtown, whatever. Didn't get the role, but that was fine. But it was something that just let me know that I can do this, you know. So yeah, then.
And that was experience too that you hadn't had. So.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was kind of surreal, man, because everything that has to do with acting and writing and directing, it was just if I could see it, I can do it type of deal. You know what I mean? And so my very first audition, well, I guess technically second audition, but first audition for a play, like I did like right after that, right? I was like, okay, I want to do this. And it was a play called Love Is, and who's the producer? Dorothy Redmond, and Tyrone Staples. They put Red Haze Productions. That's the name of the group. I auditioned with a poem that I wrote, and they loved it and was like, yo, we can fit this in here. And next thing you know, like that was that. So there is, now I'm a bona fide actor. Okay. So it's kind of cool. And
what year was this?
That was 2005. It was literally right after that that audition at the Fox Theater.
Okay.
And so again, remember, it's like, so you could see it. If I could see it, I can do it. And so like I remember just looking at that script and looking like, man. Now at the time I was a writer, but I wasn't a writer like in that way. I was a writer of songs. Back in when I was pursuing music. I mean, even in my group, I wrote a lot of the songs. But to me, it was like, just exaggerate the songs, right? Like all songs do are tell stories, right? So it was like, okay, cool. So I had this script, and then I got that same production company brought me back to do another play called Voices in My Head in 2006, and that actually ended up being my directorial debut. Crazy how I got it. Yeah, very crazy story how I got it. Well,
Okay.
it's nothing crazy. It was just funny. But one of the actors that was in Love Is, my first play, she was also in. They casted her as well for Voices in My Head, and Sabrina Underwood was her name. And I used to help Sabrina in Love Is, like kind of like outside of rehearsal. You know what I mean? Just like giving her tips. Well, this is how I do it. This is how I do it. But she would always think, like she's messing up or whatever. So here, lo and behold, the producer and whoever, to this day I have no idea who was supposed to be the director at the time. That was supposed to be the director at the time. They got into it, and next thing you know, she came out and she said, "Well, guys, we're gonna have to put this on hold because now we don't have a director." And Sabrina was like, "Oh, Kamal will do it." What?
Really?
Yeah, it was just like, I'm like, wait, what? What's going on now?
Right.
And that's how I became a director. Just literally just from that. And so that was in 2006. So now this is the part where I told you earlier about the whole bring Hollywood to Detroit.
Right.
But what happened was I actually was planning on moving to California. So let me be truthful with that. I mean, like, that was it. It was like, that's the thing to do, right? You want to pursue acting, you go to Hollywood.
Right.
But what happened was my father passed in 2000, like right 2 weeks before the play went up. And my brother, who at the time was living in Houston, he's here now, but he was living in Houston then. And he kind of called me, and that was kind of like, it was kind of like his theory, the whole thing, right? It's like, well, if you want to go to Cali, go to Cali. You know what I mean? But just keep in mind, you're going to be a needle in a haystack there, right? So you can go to Hollywood, or we can start our own company here and make Hollywood come to us. So there was like the big brother speech that was like, strike the theme music when you know what I mean, in the movie.
Right.
That's what I was like, oh, okay, man, let's do it type of deal. And so Lynn's Boys that's it's like a guess of the devil.
Where it was born.
That's where it's born, because our mother's name is Lynn, so we're Lynn's Boys. So Lynn's Boys Media. We launched in 2007 with Rules to Game, my very first play that I wrote, directed, and starred in. And then from there, it just kind of just took off. So that's the story of how I came to be whatever it is.
So what about the radio? You left that out.
Oh gosh, yeah, radio. Oh my gosh. So it was like at the same time, right? So 2007 I started. Yeah, 2007 is Rules of the Game, and then 2007 is also when I started radio in July of 2007. And at the time, so here's what I was actually doing at the time, right? So I was a little bit of history. I used to do an open mic with my guys, and it's called In the Mix. So we used to do an open mic at the legendary Lush Lounge, right? So when I say open mic, this is for hip hop. And so, all that underground hip hop, and it was great. But more importantly, that's where I kind of found my hosting voice, right? So, at the time, I still worked at Chrysler Financial. It was 2007, right? Yeah, I worked at Chrysler Financial, and it was really just, there's no like magic story about this. They were doing a contest called "Who Wants to Be the Next Hot Doc?" Me and my boy Lamont Williams, who also went to basic for me as well. He and I, we were the ones, we were hosting not only in the Mix Lush Lounge, but we were also hosting just straight up parties. And so I forgot. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm leaving her out. I forgot our coworker's name that said, "Hey, you guys should go off for this audition." Oh, I'm sorry if you ever hear this podcast. She knows who she is. But I cannot remember her name. But anyway, so she was like, it was 10. Well, actually, time is not. It was 105, 102.7. That's what it was. It was Hot 102.7 at that point in time. That was back in 2007. And we went down there, and we were the only people that did a duo audition. And everybody else was doing, just going up and doing their solo acts or whatever. And so it just worked because of like one of those things where you can click as many times. It's like a popularity contest. It wasn't like they selected. It was like whoever has the most votes when the time is up, that's who's going to be the next hot job, right? And something like this wasn't even supposed to be for a long-time contract. It was also supposed to be for a year. You know what I mean? But, it's a play on basically giving back to the streets, giving opportunity to people who don't go to Specs Howard or have broadcast, skills or education. It was that type of deal. So we won. We had, we're telling everybody, vote as many times, you can click as many times you want to. We doing it the most on the promotion end and photo shoots and really making it look good. And next thing you know, we're in radio, right? So it was only supposed to be for a year. They threw us on overnight, which is 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And what is tweet time on the weekend at that, right? So it was like we'd be there for 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Literally, our routine would be more than likely we're going to go to some party and just leave, and then go straight to the radio station, right? Right. Yeah. But then on Sundays it was bad because again we still worked at Chrysler and we had to be at work at 6 in the morning. So we would just leave on Sundays technically Monday mornings, like a little earlier, and go straight there, and just would be dead to the world on Mondays all day. But so that happened. We did that for a year, and then they kept us going. But in 2008, what happened is the center closed, and so when the center closed, I was on that second wave of layoffs, I believe, and so it was just that whole thing, out of sight, out of mind thing, right? Like we were never we had 9 to 5, so we were never at the station during business hours or whatever. You know what I mean? So now I didn't have no job, so I used to come up there like, hey, y'all, okay, what's your name? Contact. That was my radio name at first. And so, man, I started getting more and more opportunity. They started kind of polishing me a little more. They loved my voice and so I started getting actual like fill-in opportunities to actually fill in, like through primetime radio. Like, oh, this is cool, right? Nervous, but whatever. You know what I mean? I'm on from 10 to 2. Like, this is not people are listening to me at work right now. What? Right.
People are awake.
Yeah, people like, yo, we hear you at the cubicles. Like, oh my God, this is so cool. So the two literally just kind of coincided with each other because now I'm starting to be able to say, hey, come check my new play out. You know what I mean? I'm saying it live on radio now, though, right? So I always looked at radio as kind of like this big outlet for me to do a lot of things, not just promote myself, but to also help promote others, help to get back, I would say like one of the biggest joys in radio, honestly, and outside of being quote unquote literally a voice of Detroit, but one of the biggest blessings for me is just being able to go talk to kids. And that's like one of my all-time favorite things, man. When they send me out on career days and things like that, you know what I mean? Or even when we're just pulling up at summertime barbecues, we would do that sometimes back in the day or whatever, and you don't realize that you are a being of, you can do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from the east side of Detroit, just like you, my man. If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah, you're a living example for them.
Exactly, and that's when I started really realizing it. It was like, wow, right? Because you could see the look in these young people's eyes. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize it at first. At first, it was just cool. Like, oh wow, I'm getting out this station vehicle. This Hummer or whatever the station vehicle was, Tahoe. With all the fancy Hot 107.5 and all that, and all the T-shirts. Is like, this is so cool. I'm a quote unquote local celeb. Wow. But then you start understanding the bigger picture. You know what I mean? What this really means, and what you can do to help others, how you can inspire people. And so that's the kick that I got out of radio. It was really that more than anything. I just think was kind of just the coolest thing about radio is just to be able to do those things. And even as a morning show producer, to be able to bring on people who have businesses here who want to get the word out, or, what I mean, just to be able to help and give back was just like such a cool thing to say I was a part of, you know what I mean, in my lifetime.
Well, I mean, when you
Especially
think
being
about
in
it,
an era. Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, go finish
Well,
that, and then I'll say.
I was gonna say, especially being in an era where that was once me, right? Like riding to school every day in the morning, listening to legendary Mason in the morning, and you know what I mean, like always. Who would have thought? Like now, Mason is a phone call away. You know what I mean? Now Mason calls me legendary Kamal. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
those are
cool.
moments that I can't get back. When he brings me on his show and we're talking about whatever production I may be doing, and that's wow, right? Because like, dude, I was a little kid listening to you. You know what I mean? And now it's like you're my big brother in real life.
Yeah, I came full circle. What I was gonna say is, radio, it seems like, is still one of the only mediums where you have that direct connection to people. Social media, it has that appearance, but not really all the time.
But it's not real, right?
Yeah, but radio seems to still be that raw, person-to-person way to reach out and actually connect.
I will say radio, and I will also say film and theater as well, just because when you're talking to people, especially like on let-outs, right? And especially not like now in my career. So on let-outs of a play or whatever, or even if it's not my play, right? Even when I'm going to support others in the community, there's just so many people who, now I'm this, and I even hate saying like this, but I'm this guy, right? I'm this public figure, you know what I mean? So now I've made this name for myself where you look up, and now I'm the OG in the game, right? And all these like, I'm OG now?
Right.
Wait, when did that happen? Now? Yeah, right, exactly. But the point is, you're still right there. You can connect with, you're talking to people. People are, how do I get into acting? When I tell this exact same story, because my answer at the end of the day is, well, it's, how do you get into something? And you just do it, right? Nothing's going to just fall in your lap, which I think is what any millennials and the younger audience is listening right now. Hey, stop thinking things are supposed to just be handed to you, man. Like, you have to just get out there and go after it, right? And even speaking on social media, when I get all of these DMs or instant messages and things like that, I really try to respond to as many people as I can and show them, man, I'm not Hollywood, man. I'm just a guy. I'm just a man. I'm here in the city, just like you. You know what I mean? So, but I do try to teach them, right? Because they'll say stuff like, "Yo, put me in a movie." No. Yo,
really?
go audition for a movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? I'm in your next one, dog. Hey, you don't even know me. Don't dog me. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Talk professional to me. You know what I mean? But I try to give them that opportunity for them to network. I literally tell them places where they can go, and if you're really serious, do you have a monologue? Oh, what's a monologue? Okay, well, no, let's start there. You know what I mean?
Right, the basics.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You need a monologue. When you go on audition, get actual headshot, right? But don't just do a Polaroid picture, or you know what I mean? And that's not a headshot, So I really do try to educate and teach as much as I can. Not only.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of funny that you almost stumbled into the opportunity, and it's lasted so long.
Isn't it? It's silly. I promise you. That's why I said I just go. It's like, it's this guy. Like, for me to look up every day now and say, wow, I am a filmmaker. You know what I mean? Like, I just had a premiere in September for my newest film, Not Left from Vegas. And even to how I ended 2019, right? I literally, since September to about 2 weeks ago, I just got finished filming 3 films in a row. Now, these aren't my films. These are films that I got hired to write and direct, which,
oh, wow. That's nice.
Let me just say, It is, right? So, but people will say, well, then it's your film. No, it's not. So, people need to understand that, right? If I'm not the producer of a film, it's not my film, right? So,
right.
I just got finished writing and directing a film called Cain and Abel, which will come out in 2020. Who the producer of that is Renika McQueen, as well as Price of Love, which will come out in 2020. Which is the producer of that is Ice Rizzo. So, it's just been, when I say, I can't say God enough, but it is, because I would have never thought back when I was in American Idol in 2004 that 15 years later, almost 16 years, 2020 is approaching, I'm this person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm this guy who had no clue about radio or film or writing scripts, acting, directing, none of that, right? But just do it. Go. But when I got a taste of it, okay, now we go.
Here we go. Yeah.
Now we go.
Well,
yeah,
wait. Now I have to get you though, because I believe there's something you left out that I do know about. Didn't you have a television show?
Oh my God, I did. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Melinda,
I don't know. I've been waiting for you to bring it up.
Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. And that's crazy. Yeah, because we're men. So you know what? I'm so glad you. Okay. If you're listening, I really want you to listen to the story. Yeah, this is really nice. All right. 2010. Yeah, 2010. I think I did a pilot for it, right? Again, I don't, it's the same scenario. If I can see it, then I can do it, right? And so I give you two examples of that. One is when I first started writing scripts for film, my good friend Pedro Hernandez, he actually sent me a script because he lives in Cali. Well, he did at the time. No, he still lives in Cali. And he actually sent me the script for the original title was called Bye Bye Dolly, but I don't know if you remember the film In the Mix with Usher.
Vaguely,
right. Way back in the day, right? And so, but he literally mailed me the script. And so, boom, I got the software that you need, Final Draft, from my IT guy at work, and I just kind of taught myself how to write scripts. Boom, I got the sample right here on my left. I got my laptop on my right. We off to the races. Same thing happened with Because We're Men. My good friend, Chantel Brown, she was also a business partner of mine from Lens Voice Media at the time. And she was able to, based out of Atlanta, she was able to get me a script for House of Pain. Is it House of Pain? Tyler Perry's old show? Yeah. House of Pain, I believe it was. And so, okay, cool. So now I have a sample of how to write in structure and format a television show. And so I did. I wrote and the pilot episode. I shot it. I mean, it was horrible, but I mean, it is. I didn't know it was horrible, but yeah, it was horrible. I mean, yeah, I can admit that, right? But the concept was there, right? And so, I can't even say my friend, my sister, Janaea Black. She introduced me to a guy named David Banger, who at the time was the president of TV20. Okay. And so I met with him at a networking event, and she told me he was going to be there. I was packaged up. I was ready to go. I had my little CD, just this pilot on here, this, that, and the other. And boom, off to the races. Great guy. Didn't play me. Didn't, paint me a fairy tale. Like, really sat with me and understood where I was at, and that was that. And so said, we'll talk, later on next year. So that would have been 2011. 2011 came, and he was basically saying he just didn't have any room at the moment, like to put me on television. There was no, like, TV20 was jam packed. Cool, another door to my face, no. But in 2012, I actually wrote, directed, and co-starred in my first film, which was Loud Pack, and I invited him to it, and he said he was hilarious, this, that, and the other, and so he invites me back. No, he doesn't invite me back. He calls me one day and says, "Hey, are you still interested in doing a television show?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I think I got a time for you, a slot for you." He said, but it can't be like what you what you sent me, because that was horrible. It's got to be ready for TV. And I said, okay, cool. And so, again, partnered up with some people who would shoot it more professionally. You know, at the time, we were, our sets, we didn't have a set. Like, for season 1, we literally were just shooting in, matter of fact, for the office location, we shot in the radio station. And for the house location, we, one of the co-stars of the television show, her brother let us shoot in his house, and just made it happen. And so, wow, I had my own television show for the whole season, coming on every Sunday, TV 20. I'm on top of the world, right? Can't tell me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then right as he was about to transition into a new position, he wanted to make sure that I was approved for season 2. And so he made it happen. And so obviously with everything, you know, season 2 got bigger, got better. We actually had a set this time. And boom, season 2, because we're in TV 20, dream come true, right? Still on Sunday, I think it's Sundays at 5. So this is another thing to add to the resume about, and not the resume of Kamal Smith, but the resume of saying you can do whatever you put your mind to do, literally. Because I have no idea how to do any of this. You know what I mean? You just put yourself around the right team who can believe and understand and see your vision and just make it happen. And that's literally all we did. We didn't have the money for season 2. We did crowdfunding to kind of get a budget up. I got loans from my family. My sister Siobhan, you know, she looked out. I tell you, she looked out. She looked out. Sister, I love you. Like, I believe in you. I believe in you, bro. And she, you know, let me borrow what she let me borrow. And I made a season 2 of a television show. So for 2 seasons, I had my own television show, which some of the episodes you can still see on YouTube, by the way. If you go to Kamal Smith's on YouTube and put Because We're Men, not We Are, but We're, W-E, apostrophe R-E, you'll see about 6 episodes of split between season 1 and season 2. So you can kind of see how the involvement of the 2 seasons. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see yourself on TV every Sunday. And I wasn't
go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say I wasn't living there.
I forget about that sometimes because I'll still be stopping like, man, weren't you that dude from TV? And it's so funny hearing that because I'm like, yeah, I was that dude from TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I am. Yeah, that was me.
You've done so many things, you start forgetting things now.
I really, that's sad though, but that was a really big accomplishment. And I think that was one of the things where I love seeing my mom's name, you know, at the end of every episode. You know, Lynn's Boys Media. It was really just cool to see at the end on television. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I wasn't living in Detroit at the time, but I think I did make it home to visit a couple times, and I caught it maybe once or twice. It was funny. Okay. I remember laughing. I can't remember what the episodes were about, but I do remember the break.
As long as you remember that you was laughing, that's all I care about.
Yeah. And I was very proud to see you doing that because I'm like that's a bold move. And then, like you said, that's something you didn't even have any experience with. You just did it. So I really respect that.
Thank you, man. So again, all God.
Well, you've had quite a journey. So what's going on right now? You said the new film was just done. You've just directed some other projects.
So
are you still on the radio?
I'm not. So let me. No, I'm not actually.
Okay.
That just happened 2 months ago, or August 29th was my last day. And here's the funny part. Kind of the same situation that it was at Chrysler, right? And so I'm just telling this part of the story about, you know, God moves and shifts things when they're supposed to be shifted, right? And so I remember, you know, so many times people telling me I need to quit. I just need to go to California. I just need to, you know, this is at Chrysler. And then, you know, finally, all right, cool. I'm just going to close this whole thing down. So now you you don't have a choice but to focus on your dream. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that happened putting radio, helping me with the aid of radio at the same time. And so 12 years in radio, we had just got the news, and I remember I just got back from Vegas this past June, and walked right into a phone call about basically the station got bought out. And so obviously, with that, boom, once again, layoffs. And once again, I was in the second wave of layoffs. I don't know what it is about the second one, but I don't know. But I never skipped a beat. And I just wanted just to say that as a testimony to, just how good God has been to me. I got laid off on the 29th of August after 12 years of radio. And on August 30th, I was on a set of a film, and then that moved into another film, and then that moved to another film. So that's how I ended off my 2019. And you ask what's next, I already have 2 films to start off 2020 that I've been hired to write and direct. So
awesome. So it's not stopping.
It has not stopped. As well as what I'm really excited about, because this actually starts the first week in January. I'm basically hired as, in a sense, an acting coach for middle school students in River Rouge. But basically, it's a 6-week program where I'll be taking like 13 to 14 kids from 11 to 14, and we're basically putting on a short play is what they call it. So I'm pretty excited about that. I love working with kids, and to start the year off with that, I think there's no better way, to do that before we start getting filming in February. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Awesome. And then you have to think about it too. If you were still on the radio, you wouldn't have time to do all this, I'm sure.
Exactly. No, not by any means, no. And what I'm really excited about as far as the River Rouge students is the topic that I've been wanting actually to do something on. I don't know what it hit me yet until this opportunity arrives, and I'm like, okay, this is the perfect time. But will be the play itself will be kind of catered about bullying, and just I'm excited to deliver a message in that with these kids, because I think it is really getting out of hand in America all around.
Oh, sure.
This whole bullying thing it's got to stop. It's got to stop. So, I've been seeing some things this year alone, like up close and personal with the effects of what bullying can do to really to anybody. And that's what people don't understand. It's not just kids, right? Bullying is in so many shapes, fashions, and forms. You know what I mean? There's bullying and through sexual harassment at the office, like that's bullying. You know what I mean? So, but in the case of these young kids, you know what I mean, just what they have to go through nowadays, of just the pressure of what I like to say, measuring up. You know what I mean? It's like almost so not cool to just be yourself these days. Like there's so much pressure on these kids they have to be this and they have to look like that and have to be fresh like this and cool. You know what I mean? And I gotta look like this on Instagram. And it's like
not just the kids.
Well, yeah, right. Exactly. But it really I believe it drives, and I don't know statistically, but I believe it drives kids to do more damage to themselves than adults, I would think, but I could be wrong in that statistic too. But I see it more, you know what I mean, and the depressed state of mind and all that. So I'm glad that that's going to be a topic that I tackle starting up the new year with you. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
that sounds like a great opportunity to touch young lives and help influence the future. So
yes,
I wish you the best of luck with that. That's amazing. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. You're welcome. So we're going to talk a little bit more about just in your experience, what makes the D so special. And what I mean by that is just giving you an opportunity to acknowledge further acknowledge or re-acknowledge the people, places, and experiences in Detroit that influenced you, and how your roots in the D have helped you transform into the man you have become?
Pretty easy answer to that would just be my East Side upbringing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a part where you had to go after what you wanted in life, right? So that could be as little as being this chubby little short dude who could never really amount to anything on the basketball court, but I had to, I couldn't come running in and say, Mom, they not let me play with them. You know what I mean? It was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, make them let you play with them, right? These are the actual talks I would get, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not being ashamed in a sense of wearing my brother's, for all like a purposes, his hand-me-downs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will wear with pride, like, or who knows? Who knows? I mean, who knows that these are your brother's hand-me-downs other than you, right? So, like,
right.
My brother, he's 4 years older than me, so like, nobody in my class has no idea that these are, your brothers. Like, stop complaining. So, I think there's just a sense of pride.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from Detroit, we are a city. The whole Detroit versus everybody isn't just a T-shirt, right? That is definitely a culture here, because it is so, unfortunately, so hard to make it out this city, right? Because sometimes the people of the city can be your worst enemy. You know what I mean? The support factor here for me has been an incredible journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been a support factor of the unknown, because nobody knew what my first play was going to amount to, right? Like, come on, you're doing a play? Like, oh, okay. Well, here, I'll buy a ticket. You know what I mean? Nobody knew what my first film was going to be like. But here, I'll come to the premiere. So there's the specialness in it. Like, that's that. I mean, I know a lot of other cities say that this jargon as well, but really, truly, for real, if you can make it out of Detroit, you really can make it, I believe, anywhere, right? Because we just have a resilience to us that's like no other. So, I mean, I would think that's where the special sauce is from Detroit, and just wearing that badge of honor saying, I'm from the D, from the east side of the D at that, you know what I mean? Which a lot of times when I tell people that, they're like, no, you're not. Yes, I am. Like, it's never, it amazes me. Like, why would somebody just lie like that, right? But I get it, you know what I mean? Because you look at me, listen to me, you wouldn't think so. But guess what? There's a lot of us that walk and talk like me from the east side, you know what I mean? And I'm never going to be embarrassed about my parents making sure I went to Bates Academy, you know what I mean, and went to Cass Tech and went on to further myself in college. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ashamed of that. Like, but the two can still go together, all right? But I can still be from the east side even though I'm educated. Y'all do know that, right? Like, it happens, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I just think all that being said, coming out of the east side of Detroit, being able to do some of the things that I've been able to do all over the world, I just think it's special to say, you know. It's almost like, a lot of our friends from college that on the south side of Chicago, right? Like, they made it, you know what I mean? And I think it's just kind of one of those notions when you say that about Detroit.
Definitely. I kind of get that sometimes. I mean, I haven't lived full-time in Detroit in many years, but when I tell people where I'm from, they're like that same response you get, really? You don't seem like it. I'm like,
right?
What does that seem like? And then
what does that mean? Yeah.
Exactly. But that's why I am doing this podcast, because, it's a lot of negative press that comes out about Detroit. And it's painted very negatively to the point where if I tell people I'm from Detroit, sometimes they're like, oh my God, have you ever been robbed? Like, no. And I lived there for 18 straight years and never had a problem, and I took the bus to school, and I was downtown when it wasn't as nice as it is now. And I just what ends up really burning me about that is I'll say, oh, so when were you there? Oh, I've never been. So how can you even say anything about it? You don't even know from experience.
Yeah. And listen, I understand that we may have played our part, right?
Mm-hmm.
But only to a degree. Because I believe, like, there's a bad side in any city you go to.
Every city, yes. Thank you. I've been saying this for years. Like, have you been to New York? Have you been to LA? Miami? They're dirty. They got bombs. They have crime.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? But they also have very beautiful things. So come on. You got South Beach and you got, other parts. You got Manhattan and the nice ritzy Fifth Avenue, and then you got, the boroughs. It's everywhere.
Exactly. So that's what I say to a degree, but yeah, I don't know. We I think a lot of times, sometimes as entertainers, we don't, and more so like in music, and more so even rap music, we don't help that cause, because all the things
so
we
cold
talk about.
in the D that killed it.
Exactly, right. You know what I mean? So like, there's no song called "It's So Happy in Trees." Ain't nothing like that, right? So it's like it's Cold in the D, and Cold in the D unfortunately went viral all over the world, right?
Very viral.
Yeah. So I get it, but to everybody that's listening to this podcast outside of even the people in Detroit that listen to this, first let me talk to my people who are listening that are from Detroit. Hey, represent your city the way it should be represented always. And when you go out of town, be proud of your city. Talk nothing but positive energy about your city, because we are really doing some amazing things, and so many amazing things are about to transpire. And yes, when I I walked those downtown streets too, and it looked like nothing like it does now.
Ghost town.
Don't be.
You didn't stay around after dark.
No.
Cool. Nothing was open.
Better hurry up.
Nothing was down there.
Yeah, now it's a wonderful sight. It's great for for all my
beautiful
photographers out there, for my filmmakers out there. Just the beautiful shots you can get out there. So it's really some great stuff. And the people that are not from Detroit that are listening to this, just understand it's not all gun violence and crimes here, man. And actually, shout out to the chief, just because I know him personally, but he's really doing a good job of cleaning that up. But also just understand, with the same crime that you see here, it's probably the same crime that's in your city too. You know what I mean? Come here, visit Detroit. Detroit is actually becoming more and more of a tourist attraction with all that's here, such as the casinos and all that's coming in the works within the next 2, 3, 5 years. So just know, man, Detroit is really, really on the rise, but we'll never be appreciated as that city that's on the rise if you all who are not from the city won't give it a chance. Right?
Exactly.
You have to listen to us. We're not just saying it just because we're just saying it because we're from Detroit and we love our city. No, just because if it was that bad, I'd be like, don't come here. Stay home. Stay at home. You got kids. Clutch your pearls. But it's not that. It's really
when
not
I got
that.
A chance to come last summer for my 20-year class reunion, I stayed for 2 weeks. That's the longest I had been there since the early 2000s, and I had a ball. And I just was so delighted to see, oh my God, just being downtown and like, oh my God, what's this? What's that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What this? Oh, this used to be oh my God. Look at this.
Yep.
Oh my God. And I ate and ate. I had some good eating. I had some good entertainment. Man. I had a chance to crash go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it really feels good for you when you say that now versus when our parents said that stuff about when we were coming up. Because when we would look at it, stuff, and it would be an abandoned building coming up, right? But our parents would say, this used to be a shopping strip, and oh God, he did it. You know what I mean? But we just looking at a burnt down building. But now we can say, really? Oh no, this used to be a gas station, and now it's a, you know what I'm saying? Now it's
a hotel. Like what?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So that's the good things that are happening here, man. These things are getting flipped into something bigger and better, and bringing more money in the city, and it's just great. It's
Shout
just
out
great.
to Warby Parker
time.
on Woodward. They have Vernors. They have Vernors on tap, and you can drink as much as you want if you're in the store. I discovered that personally for a couple of different days. I did take advantage of that. That was fun. I was just like, wow. But they said that's because that's the original building, the Vernors, I guess, brothers or wherever. That was the original building. So that's why they have that. They are dedicated to Vernors. And I was like, that is so cool.
That's so nice. That's so
cool.
It
was so awesome. But
that's so cool.
We could talk about this all day because I just love it.
We could. Sorry.
The only thing that's keeping me because I kind of got that pull, like maybe you should come back, and I'm like, winter, no. I've lived in Florida too long. I can't do it. I don't have the time.
Listen, okay, well, I told you I'm always be truthful. Now I can't say nothing about our winters. So if anybody's thinking about coming here for the winter, I tell you right now, it's like almost 70 degrees and rainy here. I would take that over snow any day of the week. Oh man, why would you even say something like that? 67 and rainy. That's hurting my heart. And that's bad weather here. I'm like, oh, it's nasty outside. Yeah, today is actually 50 degrees, so I'll take it. But that just means the snow is coming. That's what that means. Right. The winter is coming. Yeah. But listen, for the whole holiday week, we gonna have high 40s and 50s. So I'll take it. Oh God. Okay, so I'll take it. Moving right along. So we have come to the last part of the show. And this is the fun part. I call it the Fab Five. Obviously, a playoff of the old Michigan team. And so this is going to be 5 different questions about your favorite Detroit things. So I'm going to ask you, and then you're going to answer. Some of the questions are very wide open, so you can pick from a lot of things, and some are very narrow. So get ready. All right, you ready? Okay. All right, number 1. What is your favorite Detroit place or landmark? Belle Isle. Ah, yes. Classic Belle Isle. Any stories, any particular reason why? Yes, that's where my dad and my grandma used to take me fishing, and during those separately, you know what I mean? So I've always just, I've enjoyed all around that park. I have a lot of memories of them there, and even when I go back there now, just to see how it's enhanced to what it's become. I have a crap load of. It's the one place in Detroit where I can literally tell my kids one day about how I grew up doing these things here when I'm a child, all the way to high school where I was doing some very reckless stuff. We don't talk about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I said. Don't worry about that. Even to as an adult now, my radio career, a lot of different events that was going on in Detroit. On Belle Isle, as well as filming there as well. So the one place, boom, in Detroit where I just think, all right, boom, it's got to be a favorite. It got to be Belle Isle. Gotcha. That's a good answer. Good answer. All right, number 2. You're welcome. Number 2 is now listen closely, your favorite restaurant or dish from the past or the present. Oh, girl, seafood, pizza poppers, seafood. The deep dish, yes. Oh yeah, all day. Yes. And not the one that's on Jefferson either. Got to be the one that's in the heart of Greektown. Yes, gotcha. All day. I'm with you on that one. Yeah. My favorite, that's over Coney dog and everything else. Is something about that pizza poppers. Yeah. We get a lot of Coney Island responses, so that's new. But that's actually my favorite, one of my favorites, along with Olga's. I always go to Olga's when I come home. Oh yeah, Olga's. Olga's might have made my top 5 probably, but for sure number 1. I can't get it out down here, so I have to go. Yeah, right. Yeah, so we're on to number 3. Your favorite downtown event. So it can be anything, but it has to be something that's exclusively held downtown. Okay, but it can of all time type thing, right?
Of all time.
Or okay, it doesn't have to be present. So because now it's not that anymore. But of all time, it was always the African World Festival in Hart Plaza.
Yeah.
Just you look forward to it every freaking year. So now it's not there anymore. It's been actually at the African American Museum, Charles Wright Museum. So that's why I had made sure I answered it correctly, because it technically wouldn't be downtown anymore. But back in the day, though, oh man, it was just like every summer you couldn't wait. And all the festivals and this, that, and the other. But when the African World Festival came, it was flooded. You were stuck in traffic. Don't even try to drive. It was just nuts. And it was a great. I would say that between. Well, no, for sure that's number one. Because I was about to say fireworks, but I've never really been like the fireworks is just because of more so the family vibe. You know what I mean? The one of the small times where my whole family would come together. But I've never been a fireworks guy. Even when I was a kid, I was like, all right, I'm over it. We go home now. All right, yeah, look at them. Woo.
Because it's all that waiting. Right. Yeah, you do all that.
Yeah,
waiting.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Half the time when I was,
you got to camp out early.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, I'm just ready for it. Can we please start it, please? So now I'll give it to African World Festival. Perfect.
Okay, that's a popular answer. And then I want to say it was that was like the last summer festival. So it was right before school started, right?
Yeah, it is.
Around
exactly.
that same time. Yeah.
Absolutely right. Yep.
Yeah, it was like that last little summer thing.
In August, the end of August.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Number 4, your favorite Detroit sports team.
Okay. College doesn't count, right? It's got to be professional, right?
Yes, professional.
Detroit, yes, Detroit. The Lions. I say it in a low voice because they've sucked for I don't know how many years now. But I'm always gonna be a die. I've never turned my back on my team. I will never turn my back on my team. I've never even seen them win a playoff game in my lifetime, but it's still.
Oh, I already know the answer to this.
Yeah, Detroit Lions. Yeah,
Detroit Lions. Yeah, gotta love them.
Yeah.
Though they break your heart every season.
Every year. And not only that, I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But you know what I mean? Because it's like I was alive. You know, I was watching the TV when I saw the Bad Boys win, the Pistons win. In 2004, the Pistons won again. They beat the Lakers, but still, my favorite Detroit team is the Lions. But, no. I need help. Seriously, I need help. I really do. Every year I tell myself, like, this is going to be a year. No, it's not. It's not going to be a year.
That's what we all say. Well, and then it doesn't any better for me now being in Jacksonville because the Jaguars are not good either. So their fans are really critical. I mean, I thought our fans might be a little crabby. They're really pissed. So it's like no one wants it. It's just I don't have a dog in the football fight. Like, I'm a root for the home team. That's it.
But here's the thing. At least you had a good year. Like, just 2 years ago, the Jags were good. At least you had that one good season.
For a minute. They have this supreme ability to lose when it's really important. Not unlike the Lions. So it's really hard. You just hang in there. You're just like, they tried, you know. And I just never really rooted for another team
gave that mother
in
voice.
football. Yeah, like, they gave their best. You know, it's always next year. You know, you just kind of hold that hope. But it's just like, I'm more of a anti-Patriots fan, I think, than I'm a fan of any other team. So I'm just kind of cool when certain teams don't win.
Agree on that. Yeah, we'll agree on that.
Okay, that's cool.
Everything about the Patriots organization.
I just get tired of dynasties. I mean, of course, it's not when it's our teams, but when it's other teams that are just dominating, it's boring.
It gets boring.
I need some variety, you know?
It's like Tom Brady. Please just retire, please.
Oh, I don't know. Well,
yes.
One day. One day,
right.
All right, so this is the last one. Oh, I hate that we're almost to the end, but here we are.
Oh.
So number 5, And now this is a very freestyle type response because it's going to be unique for every guest. But your favorite Detroit memory. And what I mean by that is that a memory for you that's so Detroit, you can't classify it as anything else.
Yeah. I already have that answer. So, and actually, I shared this memory. Oh, man. So my mom used to work for an organization called the Detroit 300. And there was, at the end of the year, they brought in Stevie Wonder to perform in Hart Plaza.
Oh.
And to this day, now mind you, I've seen, especially even as a radio personality, but I the only person I probably haven't had a chance to see who I wanted to see anyway in my lifetime was Prince. God rest his days.
Oh.
Then I had a chance to see Mike. I've seen Patty. I've seen Anita. I'm just naming the legends.
Right.
Those groups I've seen, Boys to Men. I've seen, just whoever. And then of course with the radio career, all the hottest and the long time ago rappers back in the day. You name them, I've seen it. Beyonce included. But that concert, to see this man at his greatness with a piano, a couple of band members, vocals, and all of the city to embrace him in the Hart Plaza was one of the most amazing things I've seen. I don't think that's the word, amazingness. No, it's not a word. Okay. Most amazing thing I've seen in my life. I will never forget that show. I would never forget that show. And I was always a fan of Stevie Wonder anyway, but I'd never seen him live.
Motown.
But just, his genius as a writer and as his voice was enough for me. But to see that man live, and I want to say he almost went for almost 3 hours straight.
Wow.
No warm-ups, no opening acts. It was just Stevie in Detroit. That was probably one of, if not the most memorable moment that I've ever had.
That's awesome.
And proud moment. I was proud of my mom being like, one of the coordinators for this big event. But it was awesome. It was really awesome.
That sounds very cool, and that's very Detroit. Hart Plaza, Stevie Wonder, concerts.
Yeah.
We're all about the live music. I love it.
Right. And this was, this wasn't Shane Park, or it's actually called Aretha Franklin Theater now.
Amphitheater.
So it wasn't Shane Park by the water. It was Hart Plaza. It just, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was something to remember. It really was. And when I say that, I don't even mean all about about just Stevie and himself. I almost say that as far as what he created, and what he created is exactly what me and you were just talking about. How people perceive this city, but that night, that moment, for those 3 hours, we stood together and sung together, and it was one of those moments where you can get over, buddy. Go ahead. Maybe one of those nights. Everybody just loved each other. We hugged each other. We held hands. People cried. It was a great, great time.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that with us. That sounds like a very memorable moment. I wish I was there. Come on.
Well,
it has been so wonderful talking to you. I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while. I'm glad we finally got synced up with our schedules. I know you're a busy guy, so I really thank you for taking the time out. No, I'm serious, because I know everybody's busy. I know we got stuff to do, but to be able to sit down and talk to an old friend and reminisce about our great city is just, that's top for me right now. This is a really great way to spend some time. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for adding to the value of our show. We are really trying to make this something special, and thank you for putting in your contribution to that. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me, Melinda. I appreciate you.
You are so welcome. Oh, thank you.
The city needs this show, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that. We're doing our best. All right, y'all. So we'll catch you the next week for our next broadcast. So stay tuned. Bye.